Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Happy Healthy Whole. And today I'm going to talk about good deeds. Now, a good deed could be considered a favor, but a lot of times when people do a favor for somebody, they expect something back in return for that favor. It's like they got a one up on you. Like, well, remember I did that favor for you when I did da 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 or whatever. When you do a good deed, that is something that you should not expect any type of return on. I was working in this office, and the people from our home office they wanted us to do a food drive, a canned food drive. And so I said, okay. And I had went and picked up all the boxes and did everything because, I was the employee relations person. And so I went and picked up the boxes and put it out, for the people in the office to contribute to it. And I came in like the first couple of days, the box, nobody had put anything in the box. Now, mind you, I'm not going to say everybody was wealthy, so to speak, but they were not hurting. People in the office weren't hurting. I'm just going to say that. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll put that out or whatever. And so the first week had went by and nobody had put anything in the box. And every time I walked by the box, I was like, dang, nobody's putting anything in the box. So that weekend, I went out and went shopping and filled the box up like halfway. But I put everything in the box over the weekend so nobody would see me bringing these things in and putting them in the box. Because I didn't want them to know. I put as much as I had put in the box because I wanted it to look like multiple people had been giving. And I was trying to encourage the spirit of giving, so to speak. Well, it didn't work. So what happened was when we came in on Monday, I had walked by the box and I looked, and I think it might have been 2 cans that were added to the stuff that I had added in there over the weekend. So I didn't say anything. And then a little bit later in the day, one of my employees came to me and said, "You filled up that box, didn't you?" And she was like, "Because you're the only person that would have done that." And I was like, no, what makes you think that? What makes you think that I would do something like that? I was like, I think, I said it's a collective effort or what have you. But at the end of the day, she was right. I never told her she was right. I just kind of laughed it off and went on about my business or whatever. And then it came down to the day that it was time for me to collect all of the goods and collect the boxes and turn them into the food harvest. And 2 other people contributed out of the office. So I say that to say you have to have a spirit of giving about you. It's not even about money. It's not even because these people were well off. They weren't struggling. It wouldn't have been anything for them to go down to the store and spend $20 on, and pick up 15 canned goods or, some boxed goods to put in the box. But myself and 2 other people basically filled up the box. And the funny thing is, one of the people, basically the 2 people that did add to the box, they had to make sure that I knew that they had contributed. So it was it still wasn't like it's like they still wanted somebody to be aware that they had gave something. When you give something or when you do a good deed, it shouldn't matter who knows. It shouldn't matter if your name is on the list. It shouldn't matter that, because they could have easily just put the things in the box. One lady, I will say this, she was She had surgery on her foot, and she couldn't get the things out of her car to bring it up there. So she had given me the keys to her car to go and get the things out of her car for her. So it's not like she was boasting that she did it. She just couldn't physically carry her things in. So I'm not talking about her. But the other person that had contributed to the box, he had to let me know that he had filled the box. You know, well, I went ahead and filled the rest of the box up and this and that. And I'm like, okay. Thank you. You know, like he was waiting for something. And I noticed the same individual had closed out this case, and the guy came in and they had gotten it all settled, and he was looking out the window at the guy like as he was leaving, and you know, he turned around and he said to me, he said, you know, he didn't even say thank you to me. It's like he does things with he wants the acknowledgement, so to speak. He anticipates getting the acknowledgement. He thinks he should be appreciated for the things that he do and stuff like that. And I was like, okay. And that's what I realized about him. So and then I realized that's why he had to let me know. Something in his spirit just had to let me know that he had filled up the box the rest of the way, or what have you. So I was like, okay. I said, well, thank you. I'm going to go turn the box in today because it's due today, you know, because this was something that we had to do in November before Thanksgiving, so that they would have the food to do their Thanksgiving drive for the homeless people or what have you. So I was like, okay. So I took the box and turned it in. So look, if you are doing things only for the hoorah, or only for the acknowledgement of, or only for the hand clap and praise, then you're not necessarily doing things for the right reasons. There have been several times that I have done things for people and never said a word to anybody else about what I've done. Or there's been times where I have put things in people's pocket and walked off. I didn't even want them to even know what I was, what I had done until after the fact or whatnot. So it's like, just think about it. If you are actually doing something for acknowledgement, then it's not necessarily a good deed. So in some people have that thought process without even trying to have that thought process. Because I had my son to come to me and ask me, he says, Mom, if I work at the church, do you think God will bless me? Sir, let me explain something to you. If you go and you do some work at the church, it should not be for acknowledgement from God. I said, yes, God could potentially bless you. I said, but you have to have the right heart. You have to be doing it from a spirit of wanting to give for God to bless you. You can't go down there to do it anticipating a blessing in return. That should not be your motive. That should not be your drive to do it. You should do it because you really want to do it, or you really want to do a good job, or you really want to learn something and you want to open yourself up to receive revelation from God or something like that. That's why you do things at the church. Not to be seen doing things, or not to just be acknowledged by God. Because God knows your heart. And God knows when you're just doing things for show. So it's even something that I had to kind of even explain to my son. I was like, I think you've got the wrong motive, son. Because you're doing it or thinking, if I do this, God will bless me. God will bless you wherever you are, in whatever situation you're in, if you are doing it from your heart. So just keep that in mind. When you say you're going to do something good for somebody, or you're going to bless somebody's life, don't expect a hoorah. Don't expect an acknowledgement. Just do it because you want to do it. Simply because you want to do it, or simply because you can do it. I have a friend of mine that recently had a hip replacement, and I know that they can't move around that much. So I said, I'm going to come and cook dinner for you so you'll have some food for the next couple of days to eat, and you'll have you a hot meal. Won't be just a whole, run of the mill stuff. You'll have you a good hot meal that you can reheat and have you some food for the next couple of days. And after I finished, they were like, I'm going to cash app you something. I said, no. This is my good deed for the day. I said, when I called you to volunteer to do this for you, that was me saying, I'm doing you this. I'm doing this deed for you. I said, I don't want you to cash at me. I don't want you to send me something. I decided to do this. So please don't cash at me. Please don't send me anything. This is, that's exactly, I said, this is my good deed for the day. I said, so no. If somebody calls me and offers to do me a favor or do something for me out of their own sheer will, I'm not going to turn around and try to compensate them for it. Because I understand when people are trying to do good things for good people, that they feel like, I need to do something good for somebody. And if they choose you to be that person to do something good for, then you just receive it. And that's how that works. Okay? But, just be mindful of why you do things. And don't always be in the spirit of giving to receive something in return. God does see what we do. He does see our actions, and he knows our heart. And he will bless you. He will bless you for good deeds. He will. He'll make sure your family is taken care of. He'll make sure you eat. He'll make sure of all those things. But just make sure you have the right heart and the right mindset when you walk into doing a good deed. And don't always expect for somebody to pat you on the back for it, because that's not why you should do good deeds. Okay? Merry Christmas.